Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of Crushing Through Life. My name's Rob, and with me is my best friend, Jim.
What's up, everybody? What's up,
How's it
Robbie?
going?
Not
Good, man.
bad,
How,
man.
how are you?
Doing well, man. We are well into, it's crazy. We are halfway through the third month of 2021.
Oh, my God. Isn't
I
that
know.
nuts?
So when you say it like that, it's like it's just crazy, how quickly time goes by. I always find in the beginning of the year, especially for me, like January goes by in a flash, and then by the time it's October, you're like, man, where did this year go? And I always feel like the beginning of the year is where it all happens. Like that's where people lose track. It feels like a 9 month year because you
Hmm.
look, you blink an eye and it's like, well, there goes the first quarter of the year. It's like because and also in Canada, not sure how it is in other countries, but um, it's so cold and it's dark, and it was just daylight savings time, so it's getting brighter and people are looking forward to going outside. So you're like, I just can't wait for this to be done. And then you're
Yes.
like, well, there's 3 months of my life just poof.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, even the other day, it was like 17 degrees outside when
Oh,
normally it's been like 1 or 2 or whatever, and like freezing cold. And that one day I walked outside and didn't have to put on the boots, didn't have to put on the winter jacket. You just
yeah,
felt so good.
yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that for sure. That spring weather.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's always funny I see this time of year. The people like, it's 1 degree today, 1 degree in September, October, when it gets there, November, people are like starting to put winter coats on, they're bundling up, you have a toque. 1 degree in the spring, people are in flip-flops, they got their shorts on, like, but it's just like that, kind of coming out of hibernation mode, right? Where you're like, it's the same temperature, but it shows you the average like mental space of like, I'm ready for this to be done.
Yeah,
Bring
100%,
on the
man.
warm weather. Yeah.
Especially
So
since
anyway,
we've been stuck inside. Like that
even more
season.
so this year. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that season the depression disorder is like is very real. Which, by the way, I've only learned that the way to combat that is vitamin D, right? That's huge. And apparently getting one of those sad lights. You ever seen one of those?
Oh,
Sad light?
like SAD.
Yeah. Um,
Is it?
it helps you wake up in the morning um, by shining like a glowing like the sun like the sun's kind of like it's like a fake sunrise in your bedroom basically, and that apparently makes you feel better waking up in the morning.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at it now online. Pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
like
I
a
can
light therapy
understand that,
thing.
right? Because the idea of
Sorry, seasonal affective disorder, that's the correct term.
wow, I imagine. Well, that would make sense for the SAD light then.
Yes.
I did not put that together,
Satellite,
but
check
yeah,
those out.
totally makes sense. And it is crazy though, because there's times where, especially when you're not working from home, but in the past where you go to work in the morning, people are commuting in the dark. You go to work, and then when you leave work, it's dark,
Yeah, man.
and you never get outside. And even when you do, like the winter here is kind of gloomy. It's always like overcast in a sense. Some amazing days, but it's still like kind of chilly. You're not going to go outside. So I can totally picture it, right? Like it's a real thing. I was talking to somebody last week actually that finally admitted to themselves that like I'm affected by this. There's something that hits me this time of year every year, and now I'm aware of it, and I'm trying to the fact that they admitted it, I think was a big step in terms of like that it was okay to be affected by it. Like it
Yeah,
happens to millions of people, and it probably was a weight off their shoulders just to tell me. So cool.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, man, especially in the area that we live in Canada.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for this episode's quote? Here we go.
Hit me
All
with it.
right. Life ain't a dress rehearsal. You only get one shot at this experience. Do what you want that makes you happy.
Beautiful.
That's a great quote, man. Do what you want that makes you happy. It really puts in perspective of time. Time is so valuable. What are you going to do with the time that you have with your life? And what are going to be the things that you want that are going to make you happy? Because I think that makes it all worthwhile, right?
It was funny. I actually saw a video today, and like, when you think of like Rocky Balboa and Sylvester Stallone and like Rambo, and it like, him kind of being like a dumb action hero boxer. But I saw a video of him this week, and he was saying, when you get older, no matter how much money you have or whatever, like if you're not a good person, you're never going to be rich. And then the other thing he said was, when you're younger, you just think there's this endless runway. But the closer you get to the end of it, you realize that the way back, like I guess you pass this point in your life, he was saying, where there's more runway behind than there is in front of you, and that you don't have time to deal with people you don't like, or things that you don't want to. Just kind of do what makes you happy and appreciate what you
Mm.
have left. And his advice was for youngsters, because you don't really realize that. And I felt this my entire 20s, where I was just invincible ever, especially early 20s. I remember just hanging out some summers like it never was going to end. Honestly, it was amazing. And now I look back and like that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I guess it's just what happens as responsibilities in life compared to back then, right? Like they just hit you all of a sudden. But
Yeah, I've talked about this a couple of times with a close family member of mine, just like, and it's happened to me too, right? During high school you have a group of friends, yeah, during college you still maintain those group of friends, but as people move on with their lives, as people get more and more um I guess responsibilities to maintain, that drift does start to happen, and that could cause some sort of depression where you tend to miss those times, but more so for the fact that it's just a natural progression in life. I think that you just need to come to terms with it, and it's just a part of maturity. Like, it's definitely not sustainable to get um you know wasted and hammered every day of your life like you used to back in college, right? you
perhaps,
know
yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's um,
yeah,
and when I look back at those days, like I guess what I miss is the idea of freedom.
right.
But if I was myself right now, back in like not had responsibilities, or rent was, I think it was like
Come here, buddy. Speaking of
just,
responsibilities,
oh yeah, wow, not 10 years ago. It's, hey
this is
buddy.
this is my son. Say hi, Nico.
Hi.
Say hi,
Hi,
Jim.
Hi,
hi
Jim.
Nico. Hey buddy.
Nico's going to bed, right?
Yes.
Okay. Say bye bye.
Bye bye.
All
Hi
right.
Nico.
Take care, buddy. I love you. Close the door, okay?
Dad.
Yes.
Bedtime.
All right, sweetie. I love you. Bye.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, that's like, look how different that is 10 years ago.
Yeah. that wasn't around for sure.
That was our first guest on the podcast. That would be a trivia question later on if we do like many
Oh,
seasons.
fantastic.
Who was our first ever guest?
First guest, my son Nico. There you go. But sorry, what you were saying?
Yeah, so if I go back and like, picture the freedom that I had, it would be great. But now like kind of like endless freedom, like I was lucky enough to continue working. If I couldn't, I don't know what I would do with the time. Like there's a lot of hours in the day where we just sat there and watched like like the dog, whatever it is, the super dog show on TV, and like the best firefighter in Canada and stuff like that. Like the dumbest things are like endless video games. I was playing poker back then too, but and you're right, the occasional beer was had by most
Mhm.
in that group, but like that's just I would feel like it was a waste, like now I look back and in all those days that I cherish, because it was just endless freedom, it would be too much for me now. I'd be like, I want to do this. I want to better myself at that. Like, if I go back, that is what I would try to be better at.
Mhm. There's two sides to that argument for sure. For me, definitely video gaming. I used to be a big MMO fan, World of Warcraft or whatever, and that would suck a lot of my time. And um, you have to look at it as not necessarily, I guess, wasted time if you enjoyed it, maybe just a source of entertainment. But there's also that other thing where it's like, when does it become addictive, and you have a
Mhm.
problem with that thing, and you're not doing anything productive with your life.
Right.
um Nowadays it's easy. because kids nowadays, they can just create a Twitch stream and they can play their addictive game and make money from it, which is fantastic.
Insane. Yeah, like
That wasn't
when I was,
around when we were kids. When you were playing Halo 3 on Xbox, you could have been making bank.
I mean, no one would have watched me. Maybe if not for my winning personality, but they weren't watching me for skill. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I guess my point is, try not to beat yourself up too much if it's if you're looking back at the things that you wish you'd done. Because I used to do that a lot. And I find that for me, it was more so in career. Like I should have done this path in my career and I would have been way further if I you know did those things instead of the things I've done and just you know was slacking or being you know um, I don't know, just putting it to a side, not taking care of it.
Yeah, you just be complacent and
Yeah,
like
you'd be complacent, be lazy.
yeah,
Um, but that could lead to in you know some sort of depression episodes where that doesn't it's not even productive. So why even bother doing that? But again,
yeah.
that
Well,
wasted time, you can't beat yourself up too much about it.
when I look back, I don't regret those times at all because it kind of makes me want to take more advantage of what I
Sorry,
have now. But
procrastination was the word I was stumbling on. I was trying to
okay,
think of
yeah,
that
yeah.
word.
Well, I'd procrastinate for sure, but like
Yes.
I mean, even then, my job was poker, so as long as I made enough to pay the to pay the bills, that I was going to be fine. So I think that's for it came very easy to just slack off or like
Yeah.
to do whatever, especially rent forever ago. Splitting a house with six people
Hmm.
was pretty cheap. Like I think it was $300 a month. Like it really was not hard to make that much. Like I could some days I'd make that in a couple hours, and it's like I could literally take the rest of the month off. I wouldn't, but um, pretty crazy. And it's always funny. Ever since I've been doing this for a long time, but especially in the last 5 years, six, seven, maybe. I've really tried to live in the moment because I think what's cool is, when you get older, your wealth becomes your experiences, not so much your money. Like as you get older, sure,
Oh,
you
that's
could
interesting.
you could spend more. I mean, I saw this in somebody's book that I actually want to read, and it's called his book's called Die with Zero, by a guy named Bill Perkins, and he says that the idea would be that you spend all your money during your lifetime to have all these experiences because what happens when you take out money from the bank, right? Like hard-earned money, you take out actual cash, and that you can go and spend on whatever. But especially if it's material, it doesn't really matter, right? It's just an object that might make you happy in the moment. But if you spend it on an experience with your wife and your son, or a trip with your boys to wherever, or a cottage weekend, with a couple of families, something like that, you can look back at that next time you're with those people and you withdraw memories that you guys all talk about. And those experiences down the line are much worth more than what the money is that you spent on it, right? So it's
Very
like,
cool.
the weekend was $400. So his idea is that, you should, by the time that you're approaching, your 70s, 80s, that you should have already, you don't obviously want to take care of your family and whatever, but like, some people die with millions in the bank, and it's like you could have done a ton of stuff with your family, and then you would have had all those experiences in the last 30 years. So
Sure. Yeah.
very interesting concept, right? Where and so, anyways, like I've in the last 5, 6 years, I've always looked at back like this moment is the best moment that I'm going to experience, and like especially with my friends, like the last time I saw you guys was in the summer,
Hmm.
and that was awesome. Like we were 32 years old, some of us you were 31. We were hanging out at a cottage, honestly, during a pandemic. Like we're still pretty fortunate. So you just kind of have to like, sure, we can't do it every day like we used to back in the summer of grade
Hmm.
11. But another thing is, you kind of said, we all like we sort of grew up and kept a group of friends. Like not everybody has a group of friends like we do. So just another thing to be appreciative for.
Mhm.
After all this time that we don't. I mean, we all hate each other, but it's like we love each other too.
um, Especially for us, we're back when we were growing up and being friends in high school. The amount of concerts that we've been to,
Oh,
uh, those experiences were huge, and we talked about them like probably at least once or twice a week. At least one concert or show was brought up, or do you remember that show, or a picture has been shared in a group or whatever?
mhm,
And yeah, man, those experiences were fantastic. Where even I probably spent a little bit way too much money on going to concerts, more so,
for
but
sure.
those memories are amazing. I actually had this conversation recently, not recently, but when my wife and I got married, we had a sum of money that we were going to use to spend on our honeymoon, and that money was discussed whether it could be better saved and go for a cheaper vacation like Niagara Falls or something like that, or go to a place that we always wanted to visit, which was Jamaica. And we're like, you know what? We're young. We don't have kids right now. This is our only honeymoon ever. Like, why don't we spend this money and have a great time? And we did. We had 2 weeks in this fantastic resort. It was awesome. The food was fantastic. We had so much fun there, and I think about it all the time. um, where if that money, yeah, we probably could have saved it, probably could have went to other things. That experience was definitely worth the cost for
And
sure.
you'll never forget it. Like having just done
Never forget
my,
it.
Jess and I were on our second. It was after our second anniversary. We waited until she was done her PhD just for the timing of it, like to
Hmm.
kind of take 2 weeks off, and she had some bumps that prevented her from finishing earlier. But similar idea. Like we weren't gonna have kids. We still don't, but we weren't even gonna start to think about that until she was done. So we ended up going on a honeymoon, and I I never cared before. I was like, yeah, if I get to Europe at some point, like that'd be cool.
Hmm.
And now we talk about it once a week, where
Yeah,
like
man.
like my desktop background right now is a picture that I took on a gondola ride in Venice. And it's like I look at this thing and I'm like, I can't believe I was there. Like I feel the warmth of the sunset like in the photo, and I think of us. um I might be challenging to travel with for some people, and like the best travel companion for other people, in that I don't care at all what we do. Like there's
Hmm.
certain things that I would want to see, but I know some people like OCD type A that are like itinerary, all the way. Like I'm not like that.
Yeah.
In Venice, I wanted like we literally just walked and got lost,
Yeah.
and we were happy to do it. And I wouldn't be able to go back if I landed like went to the same place. I wouldn't be able to get back to where we went on this trip, and I think that's really cool. Same with Florence. We walked around. We were trying to find food, and we ended up in this like huge botanical garden that we spent the next 2.5 hours in, like taking pictures and being silly. And then we found this amazing spot for the sunset. Um, but again, like just things that we will never forget. And um, I'm sure we, like you said, we could have saved that money for, something like right now we don't have a car because it died.
Hmm.
Or we wanted to redo the kitchen or the bathroom. And it's like, sure, we still want to do those things. But these memories, these life moments are like, those are what make me happy and always will, like,
Yeah.
I can't believe I was such a moron for all these years. I should have gone to Europe, man. And actually you said the other day, like, I gotta see more of Canada, Canadian geography. I think that was you,
Yes.
right? And it's like,
Yeah.
you see some stuff. It's like people go to Vancouver from our area, they never come back,
Right.
and it's like that's our country. They
Hmm.
go there to like like it's a big city, but it's also you're on the coast. It's a little warmer. You could ski like 40 minutes away.
Right.
Different lifestyle out there, and it's crazy. But yeah, like I don't know, those experiences, to go back to it, yeah, those experiences are just crazy.
Yeah, I definitely want to visit more Canada for sure. The only place I've really seen, of course, is North Ontario, Algonquin.
Mm.
Um, a bit of the cottage East End, and of course the South End Niagara. Um, but I want like and actually, sorry, I have seen Halifax because my brother was there, and I went to go visit him in Halifax.
Very nice.
Um, but I definitely want to go see more, man. Like Victoria for sure, BC for sure. Visit some more area Like even like I've seen Montreal. Montreal's pretty
Oh,
cool, but I would like to
ah,
see like Quebec,
speaking
Um,
of memories, yeah,
yes.
I've been to Montreal with you actually.
We've
See, and like
had many a times there.
it's it's one of those. How about Ottawa?
Ottawa,
We
yes. Yeah.
spent a day or two uh, in a pub in Ottawa, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Eating lasagna and having martinis, but
Of course.
and it's
As
so
one is
funny.
known to do.
I I always feel like I picture your brain kind of being somewhat like a computer where things are somewhat organized sometimes in like a folder, like song lyrics or memories of stuff like that. And when somebody else triggers it, it unlocks this whole like, or your brain's like a filing cabinet kind of thing. You unlock and you open up this folder, and it's like, whoa, and you find this treasure chest sort of thing. So like, you saying Montreal. I forgot that we went to Montreal together, and now I'm picturing the whole trip, and it all comes back to me, and it's such a cool thing. And those are exactly what I was talking about, and like the way the book describes is like this is a withdrawal from that, your memory bank. And the way it's making me feel right now is very grateful, and like I miss those moments, but I'm still like, but in a sense, to still have known you, and that we didn't kill each other 15 years later. Like how old were we? 18, 19, right?
18. 18 years
I
old.
think I was 19 at the time because it was in the spring.
Yeah.
I wiped out on Capo's driveway on the scooter right before we left. If you remember,
I
I
do.
tried to like pop a wheelie on it,
Yeah,
and
I do.
then I just like, and then they made me sit on the middle seat in the truck, in your dad's truck, the
Yep.
whole way up.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah, you deserved it.
Yeah, 15 years
If
can't
you
believe
landed the
we're
wheelie.
still friends after all this time.
So going back to just to steer the wheel a little bit, going back to our last episode, we talked about some goals, and one thing I did do, which was actually a really good feeling for me, was write down personal goals that I want to get done, at least get started on
Right.
in March. One was wake up early. I just recently, as of a few days ago, started waking up at 7 a.m. every day, and I'm starting to go to bed early, and I'm starting to feel so much better because I'm getting better sleep. On top of that, I'm actually doing nasal rinses, and like um, I have severe allergies, so like shots of like Dimista, this nasal spray, and I'm waking up feeling way more rested, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um,
It's
so
amazing how much. Go ahead, but just from the start of your day, like
yeah,
even if you've done nothing else on the list, which I guarantee you, if you try to do other things before wake up first, I feel like
mm,
because you've been waking up first, you're more likely to complete the rest.
yeah, exactly, for sure. Um, it's all about achieving that 8 hour sleep required time for your body just to feel well rested, and I want to get that every day because I just need to. I need to get up early and go to bed early because all the shit that I want to get done for my personal growth, whether it's career or my like I said, my YouTube channel or whatever, even working on this podcast, it needs to be done in the morning because I have a child that I need to tend to as soon as work is done, and I need to help around the house. So and of course working out, right? Like I only have like in the
Right.
morning, lunch, and I'm starting to find that I really enjoy getting all that done before my work is done, and I can just relax and unwind and spend time with him, and it's really good. It's a nice new mindset that I have myself trying to achieve. Um, just taking care of your hygiene, because let's be honest, we've been at home.
Mhm.
I start to not care, right? You
And
don't shower, you
we're
don't
both
shave,
married. We're both married. We're not impressing anybody at this point.
exactly. You know, you gotta keep up with your hygiene. Um,
Yeah, I agree because like I used to wake up. If I had work at 9 and I could drive, I would get to work like
mhm,
5 to 9 roughly. I would wake up probably 8 o'clock. I'd shower, maybe even 8:20. I would shower, brush my teeth, and I'm out the door. Sometimes I'd take 30 seconds to make a lunch. Usually I was too lazy and I ate a lot of fast food. So being at home is a lot better for that. But
yeah,
you're like now that I'm at home, I wake up at 8:55, and I walk across the hall. I know I've said this a couple times in the podcast,
Yeah.
and I start work at 9. So it's like, I'm not showering till night, and then
Mhm.
some days I'm like, ah, if I
I
have
showered 3 days ago. It's fine.
if I don't do a workout that day, like, I'm like, I don't really care. But I do agree, like, you know, um, and actually, you making this list, I feel like led to our new challenge that we're on with same people that we did the January one with, and an extra plus one this time. But um, this kind of thing of you kind of doing that made me want to write down some betterments for myself, and then just got the ball rolling, and now we're all sort of have our individual challenges that we're trying to do for the next 30 days.
It's weird because I usually type notes on my phone, or I'll type notes on my keyboard on a notepad, but it's a strange act of physically pen and paper. It's like a little bit more concrete and solid and in your face, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of strange because you're writing things down and you feel like you're going to achieve them. I actually even crossed one thing out, was installing a piece of software to help, with my editing and all that. But yeah, just continuing, like getting a simple website up for my YouTube channel, finishing up a course that I'm doing for YouTube to get my channel rolling. um, Clean and organized office. I actually did a clean sweep of my office, at a vacuuming and de-dusted. It was actually so gross. I haven't cleaned it in so long. And I actually, and since then, I actually enjoy walking into my office in the morning, and it looks so nice now
And
that like things are
I
just
love
like
it.
not, there's no dust anywhere. It's such a good feeling.
I try and do
Um,
mine like once every other week, just with the desk.
yeah,
But then I have, but you probably have more stuff, but I got like my desktop is on the desk. I got my ring light, I got speakers, there's, some other clutter. And it's just like you look at it, it's so easily I don't know, kind of contaminated. And not to mention it distracts, like the more crap I have on here, the more distractions I have from work
yeah,
and poker when I'm playing. But yeah, it's definitely a good feeling to walk in and be like, man, it's just the right area, right? You're like, you're looking at like this mess. It's tough to be productive in that. But you look in like, you got a spotless area, no clutter, it's dusted. You just sit down, you're good to go. Well rested, 10 and a half hours of sleep or whatever the hell you got the other day. Unheard
yeah,
of on a
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Can't tell you the last time I slept that much on
Oh
a week.
my goodness, that was crazy. 10 hours of sleep. I've never got that amount of sleep in the past year. Um, what the other thing too is taking a meditation break. So on Fitbit, they have this like mindfulness section where they have like these little 10-minute meditation breaks that I want to try to do during lunch and kind of like not think about tech or work. Um, I want to weigh myself every day, and the last thing I want to do is schedule all this, right? So I need to create, like I got it all written down, and I need to create a schedule, and I need to have it physically posted. Um, Even if it's like in my washroom, like 7 a.m. Do a workout, 7:30 shower, brush your teeth, whatever. Just like physical or like visual cues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you build that like discipline. So yeah, all things I'm going to try to do. Um, and yeah, it'll be my project for this month and next month, I assume.
I hear you with the pen to paper. I don't know. I feel like we might be, the tail end of the last generation to kind of be like that,
Yeah.
because it's just not going to be around. But I'm very much, I'm doing studying poker, and I'm taking notes with pen and paper because that's how I remember stuff. Like I can literally picture where it is on the page when I think back to it. I've always been that way. It's how I learn. It's how I remember. It just, like you said, there's something concrete about it. Um, I enjoy actually the act of doing it.
Mm.
Um, because it's not like you're making notes all the time, like in school or whatever. It's like this is for me. Um, and all my thoughts are organized neatly in one spot. So yeah, it's crazy that and
Try
also
it,
like
man. I'm telling you, like by the next time we record an episode, write down a list of personal goals, and just like for 5 to 10, whatever you think is appropriate that you want to achieve in the next month or two. So, things that can be as easy as changing routine, right?
Hmm.
And like
Yeah.
you finishing your poker course, what are some things you can do to complete that more efficiently? Unless you have that already on lock and you're good to go on that.
Well, so at the beginning of the year, I kind of just said I wanted to do 3 hours a week, which is pretty tough sometimes. And this month, I want to do 6 hours a week minimum. So I really want to double what I already thought was tough. But
Perfect.
the thing is, I'm actually playing way less because I'm trying to build up the fundamentals better. Because if I play and I have half skill set, it'd be better to not play and wait and to have a full skill set, if that makes sense, and just
Hmm.
wait and then dominate when I get there. Thing is, I just love playing, so I never want to take a day off or whatever. But yeah, and like I've been playing for a long time, and in the last years where I've really started to see better results. In a sense, studying has opened up my eyes to the fact that I've been successful at it, not super successful, but enough to make money. Like I'm not a losing player by any means, and I know now more than I ever have since I was 18. Like, is when we probably started playing when Rounders came out. And so it's like I've almost been playing 15 years, and I know now more than I have in the last 15 years, and I've never felt less qualified. Even though all those years of ignorance is when I did okay, I just like now studying, it's like, oh man, and I think back, had I just studied, I'm never going to change that. I
Yeah.
enjoyed doing what I was doing, but um, like it's just it's crazy, and that just goes, it's not just that, it's working out, and like now like I'm out of shape when I'm this age, but had I started 6 years ago to prep for other things, or even when I was younger, um, playing tennis, like, or actually a good example is, I guess, when you've hit a certain level of hockey and you're in high school, you're not going to be in the NHL or anywhere close. They stop doing practices because it doesn't matter anymore, right? And that's kind of what I was like with poker, where it's like I just play all the time and never get any better.
Hmm.
I think I've given probably talked about it enough on the podcast, but yeah. So like I do have goals to do 6 hours a week, and I have a step goal that I want to get to. I've been rollerblading. Like today, I went out during my lunch. I was probably gone 20 minutes. It felt great.
Nice.
Um, it's pretty challenging because some of the hills on my legs where I'm just like out of breath, and there's all these cars coming by, and I'm trying to make this face like I'm not dying, but um,
I guess we should tell everyone that we started a new challenge this
yeah.
month.
So we did. Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
hinted at it, but yeah, we did start a new challenge.
Yes. 30
Um,
days. We all have our own goal to achieve. Something that's, attainable but difficult. So for me, I have a desk job, and for me it's difficult for me to do 10,000 steps in a day. I don't walk at all during the day. So I'm walking in the morning when I wake up and my lunch hour, and if I can't do it between those times, after work, to get at least 10,000 steps in. Don't eat any fast food, um, junk like that. So that's my goal for 30 days. We all have a $50 buy-in, and whoever fails on a day, if I were to eat fast food in a day, you owe $5 to chip into the pot, and it's all on the honor system here. So 2 days so far, it's been great. Um, Crunching away. But man, do you feel great though? Like there's actually, even when I go to a certain point in my walk, there's like a time where I hit a wall,
mhm.
and after that you just keep going, and you're in autopilot. And I think I mentioned that before during the podcast. But that's the
Yeah.
best feeling. And once you hit that autopilot mode and you're just going, you
So
can
for
you can crush
me,
it.
I'm going out for a walk. I usually run the last little bit depending on timing. So I got 22 more hundred steps to do today, so I'll go and do that after we're done.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, I totally hear you. So like I get to the part, especially when you start out, that you're gonna have to do a certain amount of whatever, and I get to this point in the walk where I'm like, well, I could turn left here and head home, and I just be done. And then there's other nights where I'm like, you know what, I'm already out. It's cold. It's not like it's super warm. once the sun goes down, it's not 17 like you were talking about. Like the other night I was out and you know, it's pretty chilly, but just walking around, I'm like, I'm already out here. Like, let's just get some, you know, I'm enjoying it. I actually like, it's kind of, so it's funny. I enjoy the idea of what you said about being done and being able to relax,
Hmm.
but I kind of like the idea too of going out for a walk at like 10 or 11. And I like, it kind of helps me wind down, you know, it finishes the day off, like work is gone. Um,
Okay.
Half the time Jess
Yeah.
comes with me, and you know, we don't bring our phones or anything. We literally we walk out there and we just talk. And because when we're at home, you know, if we have your phone even near you, or you got like she's got a laptop, or you know, I'm up here, we don't spend that whole time like we'll be together, but we're not like engaging. And these walks have become pretty special to me now. You know, so
The only thing is to bring a phone is if you wanted to track your GPS on your Fitbit, if you can do that. Or I mean, like if it becomes a safety issue or whatever, you like to have a phone on you. But I like the fact that you meant, you know, like you leave it behind because you know it's a distraction to both of you guys and you want to spend that time together personally. So that's very cool.
well, I think I do bring mine. She leaves hers at home, but we don't go on it.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, maybe for emergency or whatever, but um, yeah. So anyway, so like, yeah, I'm trying to do step. I have a step goal. I'm trying to read six, sorry, 20 pages a day of my book. Um, and it's not fiction this, or sorry, it is fiction this time, not nonfiction. Um, and I'm trying to at least make one meal myself once a week, and you know, have home cooked meals 5 times a week. So
Beautiful.
you know, Jess and I usually do, because I play poker on Sundays. It's not really fair to her to be in the kitchen all day by herself, because she'll kind of make, like last weekend she made me uh, an egg, bacon and egg sandwich, you know, like a breakfast sandwich, which is so good,
Hmm.
an English muffin, and you know, at night we have pizza. So stuff like that, and a lot of time if our parents are going to come over, it's the only time we see anybody. A lot of the time we do have McDonald's or Wendy's, or you know, we'll order some sort of food in. So those 2 days generally aren't perfect for us for health. But I like nothing's going to change that. And the rest of the days we are making home cooked meals. So again, like an attainable goal. Sure, we could go without it, I guess, like we did for January. But you know, I already did that challenge. I'm trying to do some other stuff that's more important to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. As always, hope everyone stays well and healthy, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time.
All right, buddy. Take care.
See you, Robbie.
All right. Bye-bye.